What is going on, my beautiful DC brothers and sisters? So, shout out to this person for sending me this. Apparently, this is a YouTuber by the name of Liambo Davidson, and his video is titled James Gunn is copying Zack Snyder 10 Reasons Why the New Superman Movie Will Flop. Okay, I'm like, I need a good laugh. Let's, dive into some delusion and let's see what this young man has to say because I am sure this video is going to be absolutely enlightening and teach us something about why James Gunn is absolutely copying the GOAT, Zack Snyder. let's take a look.
One of the most irritating things about a narcissist is that they'll copy you. Basically, they mimic you. Why? Because they have no inner life. They have no inner self. So they have to watch what you're doing so that they can copy it and make it their own.
So this all started when the studio hired James Gunn to write a Superman movie in secret.
Mhm.
The first red flag that we have is that James Gunn hired somebody which looks exactly like Henry Cavill.
Oh, you mean James Gunn hired an actor who looks exactly like Superman? You mean like Christopher Reeve? You mean like him? You mean James Gunn who loves the 1978 film, the Richard Donner film? You mean to tell me that James Gunn wanted to cast an actor who looked exactly like Christopher Reeve? And to be honest, David Cornsweet looks a little bit more like Brendan Fraser than Henry Cavill. But I can see the comparison. But I mean, Henry Cavill looks like Christopher Reeve. That's why Zack Snyder casts Henry Cavill, because they follow in that tradition of Superman, and it's hard to escape that shadow that is Christopher Reeve, because Christopher Reeve embodied that character so well that no matter who they cast, it's always going to resemble Christopher Reeve, because he did such a great job. So let's continue.
Don't you guys find that a little bit weird? Wouldn't you guys be like, okay, we're friends. I broke up with my girlfriend. This guy's now dating my ex-girlfriend.
Do you think Zack Snyder has ownership of Superman? Zack Snyder is just a director who was in line to direct a Superman film like every other director. I guarantee you, once this Gunverse is over, another director is going to step in, and I'm sure whoever they cast as Superman is going to resemble David Cornsweet, Henry Cavill, Tyler Hoechlin, Christopher Reeve, Tom Welling. Pick your poison. Like, this guy actually thinks like that James Gunn had some secret plan to screw over Zack Snyder. He's like, you know what? I'm going to take an actor who looks exactly like Henry Cavill, which doesn't make any sense, because if James Gunn wanted to screw over Zack Snyder, then he would have just kept Henry Cavill and probably would have made a better movie with Henry Cavill. But if we're going by that logic, but let's continue.
And he's trying to talk like me. He's trying to wear the same clothes that I used to wear. He's trying to act like me. Why is he doing that? And this is your good friend, Zack Snyder, which you just have to take pictures with for marketing purposes. But I digress. This is your good friend.
Yeah, because James Gunn needs the help of Zack Snyder. Oof. Man, Zack Snyder with the epic success of both Rebel Moon films and the Snyder Cut, man, James Gunn absolutely needs the help of Zack Snyder, because my God, Zack Snyder he's just on a roll right now. He can't be stopped.
You see what happened to him. His daughter took her own life. He had to leave the project.
What the hell does that have to do with James Gunn directing Superman? I fail to see the correlation. What does the tragic passing of Zack Snyder's daughter have anything to do with James Gunn's Superman? Like, what? Like, my man just took a big giant leap into Nowhereville and somehow tried to connect James Gunn with the tragic passing of Zack's daughter. Okay.
project. And you did not even think to say, you know what, let me at least let him conclude his universe. That's the first thing.
It wasn't James Gunn. It was Warner Brothers who saw the returns of the DCEU, and the returns were not profitable. Did you fail to mention that the general audience did not like Zack Snyder's take, which is unfortunate, but it is what it is. It wasn't James Gunn. It was Warner Brothers. I'm pretty sure James Gunn had nothing to do with Man of Steel or Batman v Superman, unless I'm mistaken. Or maybe James Gunn is just operating in the shadows to take down Zack Snyder.
Which I thought was pretty odd.
If you hate ads, but you never do anything about it,
What is
it's
this?
the ultimate lazy
Lord.
person hack for you.
And this guy has
is
ads?
Pi.
My God.
Let's go over to the next thing, which I think was odd. If you look at some of the scenes where Superman is beaten down, I'm like, man, I've seen that from somewhere before.
Yeah, you mean like comics? Like what? What are we talking about? What are we? Yeah, I've seen that before too. Hold on, I've seen this before too. Where have I seen this? Hold on. Where have I seen Superman bleed? Where? Oh, where? I don't know. It looks a little familiar. Oh, maybe this. Oh, okay. It's all coming back to me. Superman bleeding. Oh, man. But you mean to tell me that James Gunn took inspiration from the comics? You mean to tell me that Zack Snyder himself took inspiration from the comics? Superman bleeding? What? Oh, or are you going to tell me that Zack Snyder was the blueprint? Zack Snyder was the only director to make Superman bleed. Is that what he's going to say? I hope not. I really hope that's not the direction he's going. Please, God, don't tell me that, but let's continue. Let's continue with this video. I'm honestly like, it's hilarious, but let's see what he has to say.
Superman's bleeding. Where have I seen that scene from? Oh, yeah, it's when Superman was bleeding in the Zod ship. So he took that as well.
James Gunn took Superman bleeding, but what? I don't understand. You're saying that so Superman can't bleed because it's copying Zack Snyder? So was Zack Snyder copying Richard Donner's Superman 2, where Clark Kent gets his ass beat in a restaurant? Like, I don't see the logic here, my boy.
I mean, you wanted to start a totally different cinematic universe, right? You thought what Zack Snyder did was garbage. So you wanted to...
First of all, James Gunn didn't say that what Zack Snyder did was garbage. That was 99.9% of the general audience who thought what Zack Snyder did was garbage. I didn't think what Zack Snyder did was garbage. I just think that it was a different take on Superman that unfortunately did not work for the rest of the audience. But James Gunn never said that what Zack Snyder did was garbage. In fact, I remember James Gunn saying that he actually liked Man of Steel, that he likes Man of Steel. So I don't know where he got that from.
Write something totally different because you're a different director. And what Zack Snyder is doing, it's not really that good, but okay, fine. Those are two things. And then there's this other scene of David Cornsweet as Superman walking, and somebody's throwing a can at him as well. Those are three things. Hey, it maybe just could be a coincidence.
Don't throw cans at Superman because that's a Zack Snyder thing. It actually happened in Grant Morrison's Superman, where there's a literal panel of Superman being chained up and being harassed by the crowd. It's the New 52 Superman by Grant Morrison. Well, but I guess Grant Morrison stole from Zack Snyder too, huh?
These are just three things. Let's continue. You remember that scene of when Superman rescues Lois and then he gently flies down? That reminds me of another scene.
Yeah, Richard Donner's Superman. You know the scene in 1978, Richard Donner's Superman, that iconic scene. Can you read my mind, Superman? With Christopher Reeve and Margot Kidder. Did Richard Donner steal from Zack Snyder back 40 years ago? Is that what we're doing now? Here's the thing. I don't know if this actually. Here's the thing. I don't know if this guy actually believes what he's saying, or he's just trolling. I hope to God that he's just trolling. I really hope he's just trolling, bro. Because even though I think the Snyder cult are absolutely not the brightest bulbs in the kitchen, they can't be this delusional. They can't be this delusional, bro.
Oh yeah, it's that other scene of when James Gunn copied Zack Snyder, but just did the polar opposite. Okay, that's weird. Why are you copying him? Now we're at the fourth thing.
Why are you copying?
Because you don't care about the dude, right? You think his images are garbage, right? But why copy him?
Again, James Gunn never stated that what Zack Snyder did was garbage.
If it is trash, why copy him? I don't understand that. Somebody has to explain it to me. Leave it in the comment section. Then there's this other scene of when Superman is about to take his first flight. Henry Cavill is about to take his first flight.
Mm-hmm.
You can see an angle of his boots. If I'm creating something,
guys, come on. We all know showing Superman's boots is a Zack Snyder thing. Come on. Don't you know this? I mean, Superman in the snow was obviously invented by Zack Snyder. Don't you know that? Don't you know that? Come on, bro. You know what? I think I'm starting to be on this guy's side. You know what? I do think that James Gunn actually did copy Zack Snyder.
always create from my own creativity. That's what I do. Yes, I can be inspired by Zack Snyder, and I can look at some of his images and think like, wow, that is very cool. But I'm not ripping the dude off. And I do not understand why everyone is okay with this. Because if Zack Snyder did the exact same thing, if he ripped off James Gunn, we would never hear.
I don't understand. Again, I don't understand what ripping off. Like, what is he ripping off? Okay, if we're going by that logic, then Zack Snyder ripped off all of the source material, all of the comic book panels from All-Star Superman. He directly lifted a line of dialogue from Grant Morrison's All-Star Superman, where Russell Crowe gives that famous iconic speech: "Is you have an ideal to strive towards. Join them in the sun, Kal-El." That line of dialogue that Russell Crowe has is a direct lift from All-Star Superman. So is Zack Snyder ripping off Grant Morrison? Like what are you talking about, bro? I don't understand this logic. I really don't understand it.
The ending of it. People will be like, oh my God, this scene was exactly like Guardians of the Galaxy. Zack Snyder is a hack. But people can rip off Zack Snyder as much as they want, but no one says anything about that. Don't you guys find that pretty weird? And one more thing.
This video is weird.
Why start with Superman?
What?
If you are one of the greatest directors of all time, as people are setting you up to be, why don't you start with, I don't know, like a world's finest?
In other words, if you are setting boundaries, so you shut off your read receipts on your text, they shut off their read receipts on their texts. If you set a boundary about, I don't know, what you're going to say or what you're going to do or where you're going to go, they're going to set boundaries the same way. And when you call them on it, you seem like you're copying me or you're mimicking me. They'll say, no, this is just normal behavior. You're doing it, so you're watching me do it. And they mean it from their point of view. They don't know necessarily that they're copying or mimicking, but it can be so irritating because you're seeing.
Men don't copy other men. I do not understand.
So let me get this straight. Why start with Superman? If you're my brain is hurting. So if you're starting a brand new DC cinematic universe, don't start with Superman. the superhero, the most iconic character in all of fiction, not just DC, not just comic books in general. Don't start with Superman because you're copying Zack Snyder. Again, if we're going by your logic, then Zack Snyder copied Richard Donner because Richard Donner started with Superman. So Zack Snyder ripped off Richard Donner. Like this line of logic and reasoning, I don't understand it. Maybe because I don't have the intellectual bandwidth of a fucking mouse. Maybe that's it. Maybe I'm just not understanding this man's genius. I don't know. You tell me.
Understand that's feminine behavior, but this just says a lot about James Gunn, because if you think of it, when Zack Snyder was releasing
feminine behavior doing a superhero movie, so wouldn't that make Zack Snyder feminine because he did a Superman movie first? Am I missing something? Am I missing something here?
Superman, I did not even know that Zack Snyder was directing that movie. I kind of knew who Zack Snyder was, but I did not see him in any of like the promotional videos. He was pretty silent.
Oh my god, bro! You're really gonna make me watch these? I can't take this, bro. The video is almost over. Thank Christ, because I don't think my brain can handle this. I don't think my brain can handle this.
Behind the scenes, we did not even see anything behind the scenes. Not like what we're seeing right now. But we have now this whole parade for James Gunn, and everyone is supposed to kiss the ring. In James Gunn, we trust.
Well, first of all, no one's kissing the ring. And second of all, James Gunn, he's the president. He's the COO of DC Studios, along with Peter Safran. Zack Snyder was just a director. He was not the face of DC. James Gunn is literally the face of DC. Everything is riding on him. Every DCU project from now on, whether it's successful or it's a failure, all rides on James Gunn's shoulders. So if Superman is a massive success, guess what? He deserves and he receives all the praise. If Superman is a massive bomb, guess what? All the hatred, all the disappointment will all fall on James Gunn's shoulders because he's the screenwriter, he's the director, and he's the co-owner of DC Studios. So yeah, he's literally the face. And no one's kissing the ring of James Gunn. Most people enjoy James Gunn's content. I enjoy most of James Gunn's content, but like I said before, I did not like Peacemaker, and I did not like the Suicide Squad. So no one's kissing the ring of James Gunn. Does James Gunn have his hardcore supporters? Of course he does. Does James Gunn have his detractors? Of course he does. We praise James Gunn when he makes good content, and we criticize James Gunn when he makes poor content. If Superman is awesome, guess what we're going to do? We're going to praise him. If Superman sucks, guess what we're going to do? We're going to blame James Gunn, and rightfully so. Because, like I said, he's the writer and he's the director and he's the co-COO of DC Studios. So who else is there to blame? Who else is there to praise? You tell me.
He hasn't done anything. He hasn't done anything remarkable for us to trust him.
The problem with following people is you're always going to be a step behind. I've had many.
Yeah, you know that $2 billion franchise with Guardians of the Galaxy that everyone loves, that everyone praises? That was the best Marvel movie in a recent long time. Yeah. Oh my god, bro.
Many imitators that have
Yeah.
tried to be what we are in the industry. The reality is, when people try to copy somebody, what they don't understand that they're doing is they're looking like an absolute clown. There's no point trying to be me. You can't be me. When you've made a step, we've already made 10, and you're never going to catch us.
James Gunn is the rebound. Like, he's just some garbage. Oh, yeah, in Superman we trust. Why aren't you racking in the views, my guy? I'm looking at every single post that you're...
Why aren't you racking in the views? You mean the Superman teaser that broke Warner Brothers trailer views record in the history? You mean the teaser trailer that drew over 250 million views? The highest view count in Warner Brothers film history. Why aren't you racking in the views, my guy? Like, what is it? Again, I hope he's trolling, bro. I really do hope he's trolling. This has to be a troll video. It has to be. It has to be. No one is this ignorant. No one is this delusional, bro. No one is this delusional. I refuse to believe it. This has to be a troll. This has to be. It has to be. He has to be a troll. He has to be a grifter. Because my God, bro, like the levels of delusion here, it's remarkable.
posting. If you are so famous and there's so many people which love you, why aren't you racking in the views? Henry Cavill is getting way more views when he's posting him just grilling at home. I'm on the grill. You're posting it on your garbage Twitter. This is the same narcissist which has to put his face on every single poster. And then he's making jokes about kids.
A poster? Was there a Superman poster with James Gunn on it? I don't know. I didn't see that one. Pretty sure I saw David Cornsweet though.
Now, the interesting thing to me is that when you look at the
Oh, that's
cast and everything,
nobody.
you can see that James Gunn is very much seeming to be doing a mix of Zack Snyder. Let me bring this over so I can keep it up. Oh, where did I? Oh, I grabbed the wrong thing. Hold on. Zack Snyder, really doing a mix of that. And I don't know how that's going to work out for him. I honestly feel, let me get rid of some of these things. I honestly feel that James Gunn, I don't know why he's doing so much stuff like Zack Snyder. It's so weird to be following. I mean, he and Zack Snyder even worked together very early on in their careers. But for them both to start with Superman and to have very similar elements. And then also, speaking of directors who ended up crashing and burning with DC, Bryan Singer also had a problem with being, you know, he was obsessed with Richard Donner's version of the Superman character. By the way, the Richard Donner Supermans are on Max right now, and I might rewatch.
And they're awesome.
Watch the original Superman because I haven't seen it for a very. I think clearly Superman should be based on the animated series. You know, the Paul Dini, Bruce Timm one, and then also the
James Gunn thinks that you guys are stupid. That's what he thinks.
From Marvel
Oh my
Studios,
God,
Summer.
I don't think I can watch this video anymore. my brain is hurting. Can't take this.
Listen, these guys, they're stupid. They're dumb. They won't understand if I create a serious Superman. You know what I gotta do? I gotta goof it up. Because
I gotta goof it up. Yeah, I gotta goof it up. I gotta make a movie about an alien who wears his trunks on the outside with a dog with superpowers that's been based on the source material since 1939. Yeah, we gotta goof it up, bro. I don't know, you know, the whole, you know, Man of Steel / wannabe Watchmen / the whole world sucks. Batman's a murderer. I'm a murderer. The whole world is dull and gray and everyone's sad. Yeah, that really wasn't working out, bro. So let's make Superman Batman. Let's make him depressed all the time. Yeah, yeah, we need to goof it up, bro.
a dog sells tickets, right? Superman has a dog. Oh my God, that's funny. Oh, put a pie in Superman's face. Oh my God, that's crazy.
I think he's having a mental breakdown. James Gunn is ruining this man's life. James Gunn, you monster.
Did you see that new Superman trailer when Superman got a pie in his face? And that's so funny. Superman is now...
He got a pie in his face? What? What are you talking about? What? am I missing something? He got a pie in his face? Like, what? I don't understand.
a clown. Now you got a division in DC. We got the Snyder fans and the Gunn fans. Do you actually think that this movie is going to make $1 billion?
I mean, if it's good, yeah. But I don't think it's going to make $1 billion. But if this movie's good, then I'll tell you what, the second movie has a very strong possibility of making $1 billion. And that's if, and only if, this movie is succeeded. And yeah, I would say the division on the internet, which is like a small fraction of the worldwide population, yeah, they don't care, bro. That's, with the teaser alone breaking records, that broke records, yeah, I think it's safe to say that the whole, Gunn Snyder division on the internet, just that's a small fraction, bro. It's a small fraction.
I'm asking you guys, do you guys actually think that it's going to make $1 billion? I don't think so, because we're divided. And you need both of those fans to come with their families. But we'll see. Because the James Gunn fans, they're like, oh my gosh, we went to support Suicide Squad at least. Right? And that was a flop. You could have gone.
Well, yeah, because, the whole COVID-19 and theaters were shut down. Yeah. And it was, in the same universe as the Snyderverse, which obviously people gave up on, with the Flash bombing, Black Adam bombing, Justice League bombing, Shazam 2 bombing. Yeah, I think it's safe to say that people gave up on the Snyderverse continuity. Hey, and they tried to bring back Henry Cavill. I was excited for seeing Henry Cavill again, Black Adam. And obviously they were like, hey, Henry Cavill's back as Superman. You want to see more? No. I don't know what you can do. So for the people who said no, we don't care Henry Cavill's back. Were they Gunn fans? Were they Snyder fans? Or was that just the general population, the general audience, the general movie-going audience saying, you know what, we're good, bro. We're good.
Gotten literally anybody else. Anybody else.
This man is struggling, bro.
To direct this, literally anybody else. Just do something different. If you want to go back to Superman Returns, you can do that as well. It was a flop, but you can do that as well. Zack Snyder came.
Actually, Superman Returns, despite me not liking that movie, actually did pretty well. But, and there were conversations about having Brandon Routh's Superman interact with Christopher Nolan's Batman, but Christopher Nolan, he shut that shit down. He's like, no, I want to keep my Batman separate. And, and they just never, there were plans to make a sequel to Superman Returns, and Bryan Singer was going to make, he said specifically he wanted to make the Superman sequel like Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan, which was going to have a lot more action, and it was going to involve his son having powers and stuff like that. I think he said Metallo was going to be in it, I think, or one of the Superman villains. But, it's just, as time went on, they just moved on. But, they had plans to make a sequel because it did moderately well at the box office. It had a pretty good score around Tomatoes. But, the movie was just like so boring.
Came in, and what he did is he showed us something totally new and something totally different. You can't hate the man for trying something new because he looked at all of the other Supermans, okay? And he was like, the only way that I can succeed is if I do something new, something different. And that's what he did. And since he did that movie, since he created Man of Steel, everyone has just been copying him. Okay, well, Marvel looked at Batman versus Superman and they shifted their whole plans. They weren't even going to do Civil War. They weren't going to do that. But they looked at Batman versus Superman and they were like, oh my gosh, we have to respond.
Yeah, and they made Civil War, which everyone loved and praised, and everyone shitted on Batman v Superman because everyone thought it was trash. That's not Marvel's fault. Hey, this is a competition, bro. If you cannot make a better movie than Captain America's Civil War, that's not Marvel's. That's your problem, bro. Make a better movie. That's not Kevin Feige's fault. It's like, you want to do Batman v Superman? Cool. We'll do Civil War, and we'll make a better movie, and we'll make more money. And they did both. That's not Kevin Feige's fault. This is friendly competition. Like what do you expect? I'm sure that James Gunn wants Fantastic Four to succeed, and vice versa. But I'm sure there's a small part of both Kevin Feige and James Gunn is like, you know what? My Superman movie's better. No. Fantastic Four is better. And guess what? That's healthy competition. That means the product is going to get better for us, the fans, because both James Gunn and Kevin Feige want to up each other in making great movies. And we benefit from that. Like, hey, Superman was better. Kevin Feige's like, fuck, Superman was better. You know what? Avengers Doomsday, make that shit so fucking epic. And then James Gunn is like, you know what? I see what Kevin Feige's doing. Hey, Craig Gillespie, Supergirl, make that shit epic. And when we have both universes that are making great movies and are thriving, that's great for us comic book fans because we're getting great material. That's awesome.
We were actually leading the way. And then when you look at Avengers and all of those movies, time travel, that is from Batman versus Superman.
What?
That is the Flash. You know that nightmare sequence? That is where they took that from. This is just a narcissist putting himself in this movie. Or from the director of James Gunn. You're not even that confident in yourself to let other people shine.
What do you mean?
It's so pathetic. I feel sorry for James.
To let other people shine? What do you mean? Let other people shine? You mean David Cornsweet, who's going to be a massive star after this film? You mean Rachel Brosnahan, who's going to be a massive star after this film? You mean Nicholas Hoult, who's going to propel his career? Like, I don't understand. I don't understand. Like, let them shine. You're not even letting them shine. Yeah. You're making a Superman movie where James Gunn is nowhere to be seen in the film because he's a director, but you're not letting them shine, bro. You're not letting them shine.
But then again, this shit is going to flop so hard. Mark my words. This shit is going to flop so hard.
It's gonna flop hard. That's it? That's the end of the video? Oh, Lord. Oh, man, my brain hurts. Yeah, that was absolutely terrible. But again, I hope my man is doing okay because James Gunn is just ruining his life, bro. He just ruined his life. So that's gonna be it. Like, subscribe, follow me on Twitter, Instagram, Discord, TikTok. This is Ash Cheeks. So let me know in the comments below. What do you think of this, bro? Oh my Lord, that was an interesting video, bro. I wish I could live in that delusion as well. Whew. That was rough. Love you all. Stay safe. Truth out.
I cannot wait to fuck this thing.